Well, the stories run wild and the laughs come free with the duck and an eagle shooting the breeze. From paintball fields to campfire fun, you know the rowdy talk's just begun. Now kick up your feet and pour a glass. We're about to have a blast. We're the rowdy ones. We're the rowdy ones. The rowdy ones.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Today we have none other than one of the most iconic base jumpers, Sean Chuma, here with us. And his story is so amazing, and I just want to give a quick introduction about him because Sean is a household name in the base jumping world. If they don't know him, they know of him. He, he was the first person to hit 5,000 base jumps. He has his own tandem company for base jumping, and he was the first person to do this with his partner. And he now has over 1,500. Where are you at right now with that, Sean?
With tandem base jumps?
Yeah.
Or just I've got
Tandems.
over 1,600 tandem base jumps.
Yeah, over 1,600 tandem base jumps. I think it's awesome that your favorite person you've ever taken, I don't know if it's changed or not, was a 102-year-old lady. What an incredible age for that. And Sean has also been on a few television appearances. He's also done Nitro Circus Live. So, I mean, this dude has accolade after accolade, and he's just such a staple for the base jumping community. And with that being said, welcome to the Rowdy One, Sean.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited to talk with you guys. Thanks for the nice introduction as well.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. And, I'm really looking forward to hearing your story. That's incredible. And honestly, until, I talked to Hal about you, I didn't even know that tandem base jumping was a thing. So I think I'm excited to learn more about it and see what made you, come up with that and like where the limitations are for that and everything. So just excited to hear your whole story though.
Yeah, thanks.
So real quick, I just want to ask, for you, when was the moment from your transition from skydiving to base jumping? Because you kind of hit base jumping full force, and I think there's always a moment for people when they're like, I want the next adrenaline rush.
So are we talking about like in time? When was that? Or are you talking about like the actual like feeling?
Yeah, I'd rather hear about the feeling, like where you're at mentally. Than...
So I was skydiving I started skydiving in 1996, and I took a little break, or I just didn't do as much skydiving while I was in college. I started when I was 16, right? So I had 150 jumps before I got out of high school. And then I went to school in Nebraska, and I was pretty busy with like pole vaulting there because that's what I was, a pole vaulter. And then didn't get to jump too much. But after school, I moved to San Diego and started skydiving again. And I met I had some real good friends that I was free flying with. And one of my friends, Adam Clark, he had gotten into base jumping. Like, I feel like it was about a year before me. And I went and watched him, just ground crewed for him while he jumped this antenna one night, just in the middle of the night. And I was just, on the ground, and I was like, damn, it was just so amazing to me. And I instantly was like, oh yeah. I mean, I'd heard of it before, from like TV shows and all these stunt shows I used to watch, but to see it in person, I was like, dang, yep, I'm ready to like get on with this. And and then so I signed up for a first jump course with a guy named Baxter Gillespie. Said his name a lot of times. It's because I have a lot of respect for him, because he kind of got it started, like as far as the knowledge portion of it, got it started for me. And I mean, that's kind of, it just went on from there and couldn't stop. Ended up moving to Idaho so I could jump all the time, and now I have a lot of jumps.
So from the time you saw your boy do his first that base jump that you were saying, like how long was it until you were able to jump?
I think it was another year. So that's actually an interesting story. I signed up for that first jump course, but then I got in a swooping accident and just destroyed my face and broke a bunch of bones in my face and my foot and messed up my shoulder, like tore the rotator cuff and everything, and had to get uh, reconstructive plastic surgery on my face because it was just like out to here, looked like Quasimodo. And so I ended up having to cancel that course because I was just too messed up for it and had to do like a later one. So I think I was set back maybe 6 months or so. So it's probably about a year and a half, if I remember correctly, from the time I watched him jump until I was doing my
Just probably just so eager for it the whole time too, and then you're dealing with that
Oh, yeah.
recovery and surgeries, face surgeries.
In my
are never
mind, I
fun.
was yeah, it was bad. In my mind, I was thinking about it all the time and
Yeah.
felt like I was jumping.
When you were out in San Diego, where were you mostly jumping from? I know you weren't base jumping yet, but I used to play paintball a lot out there outside of Camp P, and there I was always seeing people jumping there. I didn't know if that was the same
Yeah, so
area.
I was jumping at Skydive San Diego, and it was kind of the heydays of that place, and there's tons of swooping and free flying going on. That's where I did all my skydives.
Oh, nice.
What-
So
what
where oh, I was just wondering where he was for his first base jump. Then what'd you jump off of?
Well, it was the Perrine Bridge, and then after that was there's an antenna in Lemon Grove. So
Yeah, what I have to ask because of like canopy background for me too with skydiving and base jumping. What canopy size were you on when that accident happened?
I was just on a Crossfire. I think it was a Crossfire 119 or 99, and it was like I did a 270, and we always swooped by this packing tent, and I don't really remember much of it, but I ended up kind of like overturning because that Crossfire had a tendency to just continue turning rather than just straightening out, and I just pretty much went right into the packing tent and going really fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then eventually I got down to I was jumping like a VX85 in my swooping days. Now I just jump a wingsuit canopy, so I don't really jump those little ones anymore. Just
Well, those are like such nice flush openings, so they're good.
Yeah.
I'm sure when you're tandeming, like it's got to be a little different too to support that.
Oh yeah, they're huge for tandems, like 400 square feet.
So crazy. The worst swooping. That's the thing about skydiving. Like skydives, like you might get a tandem jump here or there where someone didn't pick their feet up on landing and stuff for skydiving. And that's where you see your accidents really happen as far as like, that. But it's like most of the time from skydiving, I don't think what a lot of people know is like injuries come from swooping. It's those high speed turns that stay in a dive, and then it's just, you're mobbing. Like, you'll start a turn at 1,000+ feet, and like if you're not dialed in or it hangs in this, like if it stays in the dive, then it's your job to like bump it out, and you can have a foot of not being at the right time to correct it, and then it's injuries. Worst one I saw was my buddy Marcelo was learning to swoop at Skydive Dallas, and that dude broke his femur, both ankles. And then another one, probably the worst one I ever saw was my buddy Frank out at Skydive Dallas. And this was like in the Lee and Carroll days when just amazing owners, loved them to death. But Frank accidentally got kicked when they were doing in the face when they were head down. And he was a little loopy, came in for a swoop, and he flew into the parking lot and smoked a CRV, the ones before they had it's when the Honda CRVs that had the spare on the back. Dude, that was bad. Like,
yeah, some of the accidents are bad. I've even lost at least one friend. He was in a swoop competition. Guy I used to free fly with all the time. This guy Sean Carey. Yeah, and I think he just ended up turning too low. And yeah. But we were all fortunate enough to have a lot of training, you know. It's like swooping is is super serious, and it's something that you definitely have to progress slowly with. And we were all trained down, all my friends down there in San Diego were trained by this guy named Wyatt Drews, who was just a legend in swooping. Um, yeah, he kind of passed pretty early as well. So, but it wasn't from swooping.
Yeah, it seems like anything in the, base jumping, skydiving, free climbing, you lose a lot of friends regardless. But when you're chasing that extreme level of, adrenaline rushes and fun, like, I've lost some friends early and stuff too, but I don't look at it like that. I look at it like, did they have a fulfilled life in the time that they lived, right? Like, what did they regret anything? Because I think most of the time the answer is no. And if you look at it, in broad terms, it's really just the people you leave behind that you got to feel bad for, because like they're never going to grow old, they're never going to suffer, they're never going to die, like die of illness and injury. It's over. But as long as they had a fulfilling life up to that point, like you can celebrate that, and that's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, I agree.
But for the layman, could you explain what swooping is? Because I am certainly a layman in skydiving. I went.
Sorry.
I tandem jumped one time in Australia, and no injuries, but I was sick for the rest of the day. I don't spin too well, and after our canopy opened, they gave me the controls, and I was just cranking on her, spiraling for as much as possible. And I was good until my feet touched the ground. And then I stood up and I was like, oh, I'm incredibly nauseous.
Yeah. So you guys, so you got yourself a little queasy, it sounds like.
Oh, super queasy. Yeah. Not till I hit
sometimes people throw up. If you didn't throw up, then you're kind of lucky.
No, I was good. Like in air, I was completely fine. But yeah, when I stood up for the first time after, I was like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. So swooping is just basically a high performance landing. Normal landings, you come in straight like an airplane, like you come in from a long way back, just like a straight final. And then swooping is just building a shit ton of speed, and then basically with all that speed you're planing out over the ground and just flying over the ground for a really long ways,
super low.
And some guys are really, really good at it, and they swoop across ponds and drag their feet and do all kinds of steezy stuff. And they're true artists for sure, because they're going, I don't know how fast, like 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's so sick.
Something
throwing blind man,
yeah,
no hand landings, like Curtis Bartholomew, Jamie Bartholomew. I'm sure you know the name, fly for PD.
Yeah, I know Jeannie well, or used to anyways. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, me too. And Jeannie was awesome. She would be out at Skydive Dallas for the boogies all the time, like the 4th of July boogie and whatnot. But dude, yeah, no, it's like, it's an artist. But I want to chime in on this because I think it's very important. Tweeners. You revolutionized the tweener, right? Like, and like, those scare the hell out of me. Like, it's always made me nervous. Like, throwing a McConkey, I'm good with McConkey. Like, McConkey is where you have it's basically a tard, right? Tard, by the way, means totally awesome rapid deployment. Oh, go ahead.
That's not the tard I know. That's more you have.
That's fair. But no, totally awesome rapid deployment. Like base jumping, base jumping stands for building antenna span Earth. Just some acronyms, but like I was okay with doing a McConkey, a rollover. Tweeners, dude, you take tweeners in deep. Can you explain to people what a tweener is? Because you kind of revolutionized that too. And I think it's amazing.
Yeah, let me give I don't want to take all the credit for it, because I first saw, I think it was Matt Hecker and Jesse Hall doing them at the bridge. And so I definitely wasn't the first person to do it. I just changed the name because I was like, oh, tweener is way cooler because it was called an alley oop, right?
Yeah.
And then I did it, and I was
Marketing's
like, oh,
half
this
the
is.
battle. You need cool names.
I was like, this is a fun trick because it's handheld and you can do it off of low stuff. So I ended up doing it off of every different type of object, and it was kind of like getting like tweener base, not a huge deal, but I just like doing it off of stuff. So I was doing it off like, if I was jumping a low building or something like that, I was doing a tweener, and then I had this idea of, I was like, oh man, like I could probably do like a double tweener, and then one of my friends, I've talking to him, and the triple tweener was just kind of like a fantasy trick for a while. I was like, I didn't know if I would ever really do it, but we'd always joke about it. And then one day I was like, oh, I can do this. So I ended up doing it first off of, actually I did a double tweener in Moab off of like, I think it was Tombstone or something. And the triple tweener, I think I did it off of the bridge, and then ended up doing a quadruple tweener in China. So yeah. And then but anyways, yeah, it's a cool trick where you hold the pilot chute in your hand and you do a gainer and then you throw it between your legs. It's kind of like as if you imagine bowling between your legs. It's a lot like that.
You did a quadruple.
And the name, yeah, at this base jump thing in China. But I got to tell you where the name came from. There's this movie called Balls Out.
Oh yeah.
And it's that guy.
Yeah.
I forget his name. You've seen it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, because not many people have seen it. It's not a huge movie, but it's got that guy. His name's Sean Stifler from American Pie. What's that guy's name?
I'm bad with names, but
anyways, so he's in it, and he's the guy. He's a janitor, and he's like a pro tennis player, and he's all spying on the like, kids in the. He's a school janitor, so he's spying on like the tennis kids and like wants to play, and then I can't remember if he ends up coaching or something, but he's got this like trick called the tweener, and he ends up busting it out during the movie, and it's this huge deal. And it's like, oh, a tweener, that's awesome. So he just basically hits the tennis ball between his legs. It's the same thing. So
yeah,
that's where that
one thing
from.
you noted on that I think's awesome is in all sports and what you do as a sport, obviously, things are impossible until someone imagines it and is willing to do it. And then as soon as that happens, the floodgates open and then everyone can do it. Yeah. And then that just keeps getting pushed farther and farther. And I think that's one of the lessons people can learn in life is that there really are no limitations. It's our minds like capping ourselves off for safety reasons. But as soon as you see someone else do it, like it just, everyone can do it if you have the,
it's like it unlocks it. It's so crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. So obviously you said you did your quadruple tweener in China. So where's your, I'm sure you've jumped all around the world, I'd assume.
Yeah, definitely a lot of places. Yeah.
Where's your favorite places to jump?
Oh man. Okay. So I love the Dolomites in Italy. Mm-hmm. They're just like the most beautiful. It's amazing. It just looks like some kind of fantasy world that shouldn't exist. The lighting's, it's just crazy. So it feels like you're dreaming when you're there. I really like wingsuiting there. It's just beautiful. I actually proposed to my wife there in the Dolomites because it's our favorite place. So jumping there is awesome for me. I also, one of my favorite jumps was the Burj Khalifa. Got to jump that 15 times. And
sick.
Yeah, that was amazing because it was a long time coming, right? It was like we were supposed to set up this. Initially, it was going to be this tandem B.A.S.E event where I was going to do a bunch of super high profile tandems off the Burj, and then when something happened with Vince Treffet, I think that's how you say his name, but he was flying the jetpack and died doing the jetpack thing. So they ended up canceling the event 1 year, and then they ended up canceling another time. And then finally it came and they didn't want to do tandems anymore. They just wanted to invite like 30 of people that were like friends of Dubai and then high profile base jumpers. And so 30 of us got to go out there and just have such a good time. And I actually drew up the plans for the platform up there, even though they said, we need you to draw a platform. And I was like, man, I'm not an engineer.
Wow.
And I said, but I'll draw something. It was these stick figures, and it was like this thing sticking out from a building and had a little bit of a description. And I was like, here you go. This is the
You're
best
like,
I can do.
I need this much of a deck, basically. And then you can work with it.
Well, and when I got there, I was like, oh my God, you guys actually built the platform. And it was like, it looked a lot like what I drew, just way better. Like, I don't know how they did that, but it was huge. And it was on the 139th floor, and we were falling for about 10 seconds. And you could do a bunch of flips and then track away. And yeah, that was a dream for sure. So that's a couple of my favorite ones.
Did you get to fly any did you get to like do any free flying or not enough?
Yeah, we did. Yeah. We did some head down exits, and then, you didn't have a whole lot of time, but like you could stay head down for 4 or 5 seconds and then track away, which is super. That was one of my favorite things to do. Yeah, you're just flying straight down towards the ground, and you can see the building rushing, bashing.
Yeah. And I want to note on this, because invitational only, you've all to go jump Malaysia how many times?
Yeah, I've been there about.
It's Malaysia, right? The tower?
Yeah, the KL Tower in Kuala Lumpur.
Oh yeah, been there quite a few times. Never jumped off it, but been there quite a few times.
Yeah, I've been there about 14 times over the years. I think, is that right? Well, since my first time was 2009, so yeah, maybe around 12 to 14. I can't even remember now, but I did a bunch of tandems there too. Probably going to do that again.
No way.
Yeah.
That's cool when you were saying about the head down diving, because, you're approaching terminal velocity there, but like most people that will ever feel that are just regular skydiving, and you don't have any perception of it because everything's so far away from you, right? So you can feel falling for that brief amount of time, but then it's just so peaceful. But there, like you said, with the windows and that building just whipping by and the ground getting that much closer, that feeling must be insane.
Yeah, and it's such an unreal place. It's like the opposite of nature. It's just man-made craziness. It's like buildings everywhere. And that building, I don't know how that building is even standing up. It's like, because you can have antennas that aren't even that tall, and they have to have wires holding them up. And you look at it from far back, and you got to put your head straight up in the air. And it's just, I don't know how it's even possible.
Yeah, you can't even get like a good picture of it. It's just like, oh, it's just,
you're right. You got a video
of it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, you said that's like, a concrete jungle, but have you ever you've done some of the fjords in Norway, I'd assume?
Yeah, I've been to Norway and jumped out at Chirag. That's amazing as well. Yeah, I love that place.
Yeah, I've only been to Norway once, but I did some hiking up there and stuff, and I practiced all in. So like Preacher's Pulpit was cool, but then when I went to whatever it's called, the boulder between, I was standing there and I was like, man, this would have to be. I wanted to jump. You know what I mean? Like it just looked like such a perfect spot with just those limestone walls just completely straight down into that beautiful water.
Yeah, it's amazing there.
First off, I want to. Oh, it is. But I want to note for everyone listening, the KL Tower, invitation only. It's not like, oh, this is an event, come. It is. It's still invite only, right?
Court building owners are pretty particular about who they want jumping off. They don't want the liability of death.
It's true, yeah.
For sure. It's just been so long since I followed that. But it's like invitation only, and very select few get to go jump this thing, and like it's so amazing. And if you don't if you've never seen it, go look at it. It's awesome. And I just want people to realize like how big of a deal that is, because that is so iconic to get to go jump that. Nonetheless, start jumping it since 2009, do tandem base jumps off of it, and then just like keep being asked back is such an awesome accomplishment. And I want to note that because people don't know,
And Malaysia's sweet too. So, the people are cool. You get to go there, you get recognized by that, and get to enjoy the culture while doing the thing that you love. nothing really better.
Yeah, they really do love base jumping there. The people are very sweet people, and once you start taking some, like they'll be down in the landing area and they're like, can I take a picture with you? And you say, yeah. And then all of a sudden you're down there for like 30 minutes just taking pictures with everyone. You got to be like, I'm out of here, I gotta go. Then you jump on a scooter and
Oh
go
yeah,
back up to the top.
a lot of jankety scooter action there.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite things to do there is rent a scooter.
Sure.
Like honestly, I have almost as much fun as riding scooters around, because you're driving on the left side, so you got to like quickly get used to that. And then the rules are different. Like you can ride on the sidewalk.
Oh yeah. I almost got
it's a free for all.
I almost got messed up by a steer when I was on a scooter there. I was on one of the islands, like Vacation Island. I forget what name escapes me now. I've been it's exhausted lately, but riding around, and this truck was like kind of coming, so I had to like hit the edge pretty hard. And there was just this giant ox with its horns. I was like, oh man, this is the last place I want to be. And they go like 70. And they're just like rattling like they're gonna fall apart there. Half of them, their lights don't work. You got the crappy red helmets that are just like barely stuck on you. Always scooter accidents.
I love
but
scooters.
That's so much fun.
I do want to ask. I'm sure you've been to a lot of burning. Obviously, I know you have, but you've also done the heli boogie in Norway, right?
Right. Yep.
Yeah. The heli boogie's dope. I had a buddy that just started base jumping, and I met him through paintball. Sup, Air, Ryan.
Oh, who though?
Yeah. What's
Aaron?
Oh, okay.
Aaron. Oh, his last name is blanking me. Anyways, he was talking to me. He was just starting to skydive. He was like, then he was like, oh, I think I want to base jump. And we talked about it. And I was like, hey, go do this stuff. Like, do the right thing. And then now he's like jumping all this stuff. He goes to the Prine all the time. But anyways, he went out to the heli boogie and he told me how much it costs now. And I was like, that got steep. I was like, good gosh.
Everything fun does.
It's always been really expensive. I wanted to go to that because I heard about it when I even first started base jumping. I was like, man, one day I'm going to go to Norway. And I actually was thinking I'm either going to move to Norway or Idaho. Definitely ended up being Idaho because Norway's super expensive. But, I made it happen. I only made it happen once to go to Norway just because, it was a lot, but it was totally worth it. I would go again. It's just that you got to put away some money
for people that don't understand how expensive Norway is. It's like when I landed there the first time, I was with two of my buddies. We stopped at a bar before we could get into our hostel that we were probably spending $150 a night at each, like a shared hostel. I grabbed some beers. They gave us small little beers, 3 beers at like noon. It was $45 American. After translated, I was like, oh, okay, that's the kind of place I'm in.
Dude, when I was first time I went to Lauterburnen, I got a hot dog, soda, and fries, and it was $38, and I was like,
deal.
Oh, the game. I was like, the game's afoot. No, it was a burger. And I was just like, dude. I was like, this is out of hand.
Like cans of beer, like single cans of beer in the gas station are like $8-9. And this was, man, I haven't been there since probably 2013. So I can't even imagine, what the costs are now.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. I feel like the prices in Switzerland have actually gone down in comparison. I think, everywhere else has gone up. So it seems a bit more normal in my opinion, but.
Yeah, I don't know. I've only been to Switzerland once too, so I don't really remember that. But I remember Norway was like, oh yeah, that's too much.
It's so insane. I do want to talk to you because I've always wanted to like dig into how in the hell did you come up with tandem base jumps? Because that world's not even like you were the first to do it, and like. I know you did it with a bunch of experienced base jumpers, is like, not to be mean, but test dummies, essentially, right? To be like, okay, you know what to do.
These people you can rely on,
not like, me. And they're not going to mess with you and screw everything up. I remember the first time I was a test dummy on a tandem for someone getting their license, I was like, this is terrifying. I was like, because I went, the first one I did, no, the second one, test jump for a tandem I did, and that was drogueless. And I was like,
nuts the
this
bus.
is sketchy. How? No, dude, yeah. But anyways, how did you come up with that? Because that is just, it's so base jumping is so extreme, but then like to
adding
add
in a factor that you
factor.
have no control over, another factor that you have no control over as well.
Yeah.
So let me give credit where it's due. So there was tandem. I wasn't the first person to do a tandem base jump, right? I was, I have the first company that existed, and so there was a tandem base jump at Bridge Day. I think it was 1984 by Ted Strong. And then there was another guy I heard of. I think his name was Tim Cousins, that did one in, I think, Australia or something like that. Maybe even before Ted Strong, but I can't remember at the moment. It's on my website because I had Tim Cousins reach out and he told me about that. And so I always like to give people credit.
For sure.
And then as far as the business side of things, so we started in 2009. It was myself, Abi Mashal, and Mark Kistner. He goes by Tree. We all basically were sitting around at Tree's. He had this Amco place, and they were talking about how they wanted to start a business of death camping people. And that's like where you basically send off people that don't know how to skydive on a base jump, so like no experience at all, and they call it a death camp. And I'm like, I don't think that's a very good idea. And then basically after that, we simultaneously decided tandem base. That's awesome. Although they'll argue with you and say that they came up with it, but I was there, so I don't argue with them about it. That's fine.
And like you said, someone did it in 1984. So
yeah, so we just came up with the first business, and they definitely set up the whole business side of things. And my job was to do like I was basically trying it all out. Like I was I was a tandem base master. I mean, that's what you call it, a tandem master, so it was tandem base master.
yeah.
And I took Mark Lambert. I think he was the first one who was a base jumper because he knew the risks and everything. And then I took several other base jumpers, and then started taking people's family members, and just did a ton of them. So eventually we started.
What was the first time with like an inexperienced jumper with the tandeming? What was that like?
I believe it might have been Mark Ridley's. Someone related to Mark Ridley, who I just jumped with the other day. But they, basically we told him, yeah, this has been working pretty well.
Pretty well.
Try it out.
Soft sell.
Like, it won't cost you anything. And then, they're like, hell yeah, I want to try that. And so we did it, and it worked. And then, we eventually had a guy come from Germany that wanted to try it. And then just random people around town. It started off real slow because, obviously it needed to prove itself. But there's also people that would just go because they're consider themselves adrenaline junkies, and they don't care if it's safe or not, which I think is ridiculous. But, but yeah, so now, I've done them all over the place, but the business is fun. I never intended to like make it super huge. I just like to show people the experience and kind of show them what base jumping is all about, because it also helps base jumping. If you get the right person in there, they're like, oh man, this is really cool. I see why you guys do it, all that. Plus, if you do something too much, it becomes like a job, and it's still not like a job to me. It's still really fun. It is my job, but it's really fun to be able to share the experience with people, because you just can't imagine what the reactions are like until you're, there after you land, and they're just like crying and laughing, and it's a beautiful thing for sure.
It's that adrenaline spike that you get when you do super dangerous things. It's like for anyone who hasn't, been on the edge of something like that, you can see clearer, you can hear clearer. Everything's just like
Yeah.
you just are really living on the edge of it, and it takes a while to come down from
And
experience.
it's really serious too, like it's not anything to be toyed with. I think if anybody is going to do it, like if you know anyone or anybody listening is going to do a tandem base jump, they should definitely research who they're going with and make sure that person is like very well experienced. Lots of tandem skydives, shit tons of base jumps. Like I'm talking the elite of base jumpers. And because it can go wrong, and it has now. And so that's like, people should just question it. It's not a roller coaster ride. It's something serious. And some of the dangers are, that just basically, I don't know, things can just not always go right. So you don't want to just be overly confident and think that you're an adrenaline junkie and you're just going to go for it. You want to think it through. So
there's certain things that you can't control, and that's one of them. And I'm sure there's a lot of little intricacies that you can't control there. But is it with his experience you've done over 1,600 tandem base jumps? Like I assume 99.99% of them have been pretty smooth. But what has there been some pretty sketchy ones? Like I'd love to hear about like what kind of situations you've been in like that.
Yeah, there's one where I hurt my ankle. And it was just kind of like a wind thing, and it ended up landing hard. The passenger was totally fine, but I just ended up rolling my ankle basically.
And all these tandem base jumps are off of like bridges or arches and things like that. Like I'm sure you're not doing a lot of like wall descents or.
Well, most of mine are at the Prime Bridge because that's where I live. But yeah, I do them off of, buildings and, like I said, the Kale Tower and some cliffs. I don't do a whole lot off of cliffs because obviously that's more dangerous because if you open facing the wrong way and hit the cliff, it's right there. So, and it's very difficult to turn the canopy around in time. So it becomes a lot more serious on cliffs.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I do want to ask. So I do want to ask, is it who makes your canopy for a tandem now? And I assume, I'm just curious, like what's your canopy size for a tandem? I know y'all PCA everything, which PCA is pilot chute assist. Someone's holding that, popping that off for you, so you get a really nice quick deployment. It minimalizes like error. So, and I think that's awesome. Y'all do it that way too, because they get a little instant of some free fall, just like they can feel that for a quick split second. PCA is how obviously I did my first jump off a freestanding antenna, and I'll just have some questions. Sorry.
Yeah, so I use like 390s and 410s. That's a really big parachute, obviously big enough for two people. The lines are longer, so you actually do get a little bit more free fall. And yeah, most of them are static line or PCA, mostly static line actually.
Really?
And
okay.
Yeah, just because it's like, you don't always have someone out there to PCA, and static line is just more consistent because I tie it the same way every time, and I know a lot more about it because I've had a lot of experience with the static lines, and we can just fine tune it a bit more rather than trusting a different person every time to PCA me. There's a lot of people I would totally trust, but also there's people that they could do it wrong as well. So but yeah, it's
PCA
big canopy.
Oh, sorry, dude, 390, 400. That is massive.
It is. It's huge.
Who makes them for you? Because that's insane.
In the beginning it was a tear, and now squirrel.
Dude, I used to jump a blackjack.
Me too. Yeah, those are great canopies.
No way.
Super heavy.
Did you really?
Yeah.
My buddy.
Yeah, I have. Probably a couple
ahead.
thousand on a blackjack. Yeah.
No way. I went to a Fox in a flick later on, but my buddy, do you know Eugene Edwards? Fetus is what they called him. He jumped with DBC, Luke Hively, Brad Perkins. They were all.
I know all those
Scott
other
Dallas.
names. I probably do. I just can't think of the name right now. I'm
So you know Luke, right?
under pressure.
Faces are easier than names. That's reasonable.
So Fetus is Feedus.
Oh, I thought it was.
And I'm not gonna. No, but Fetus. I want to say it was a blackjack. This thing was orange. We would go out and jump this 1800, and I hit you up about it. And we never got the elevators cranked off right, so I was like, you know, it ended there about coming and jumping those. But like, he had this orange canopy, and a light would go off on an antenna and just go boop, and like it would look like a road flare just in the middle of the air at night. And I was like, dear Lord,
not drawing any attention.
And I would just laugh my ass off. I think that was a blackjack as well. But you know, it's oh dude, the heydays. But you know Brad Perkins and Luke Hively?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so dude, love those guys so much. You know, Brad's still in the States. You know, Luke ended up marrying a chick from Switzerland and ended up moving over there. So
Where do you end up moving
just,
to?
like, base jump. Switzerland.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think I knew that, but
And
I don't
so
know if is he jumping still?
yeah, I think he's still jumping. I know Brad. Forgive me for my name or for my memory, but one of them passed away.
Your internet's trash, Al.
That stopped jumping. My internet.
Yeah, your internet's trash, man. I know you're in your mobile hotspot.
I'm displaced in a
what you
camper. I'm running on Starlink.
But I'll tell you one thing I need to hear about. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. I just want to hear about this tandem.
No,
with
I
that
was just saying
102-year-old
sorry.
lady. Oh, you're good, man. Because
I'll tell you about
that's insane. And I think, like, obviously you'd have to be like, man, is this lady gonna have a heart attack? But man, she lived the whole 2 lives, you know. So was there some trepidations about jumping with her? Because she had to be frail and like,
yeah. I mean, anybody that's older is, you know, they're more sensitive to impacts and you know, can't take even, you know, like a fall down, like even on level ground is, you know, cause serious damage. So her grandson called me up and he's like, oh, my grandma's turning 102 and I want to send her on a really cool adventure. And they was thinking skydive first. And I was like, man, I don't know, it'll work, but it's, you know, the openings are like kind of shaking you around and stuff. And I said, I do tandem base jumps though. And I feel like I could probably do that. I just need to meet her first. And
was he a jumper too, or was it just something?
No, he was just a guy from in town here in Twin Falls.
Yeah, I'm trying to get in the mind of a 102-year-old lady that would, you know, agree to do it, want to do it. Like, she must have lived a wild life before that. Like, I don't know.
Off a bridge.
Yeah, she said when I went and met her, I had her like lift her feet up in a chair just to make sure she was kind of like fit enough to do it. She's a real small lady, like 85 pounds. And she said, I used to climb the tallest haystacks. it was like that was like her adventure and stuff. And she talked about how they didn't have credit cards and all these cool stories. I mean, imagine being around 100 years ago. Yeah, it was so awesome. I was like, man, that sounds like her life to me.
No,
I mean,
it was
like
not 1899. That was exaggerating, but she was there before, you know, planes existed. You know, like,
yeah. I mean, things were different.
Yeah.
And yeah, she was amazing. She liked to play the harmonica and stuff, and yeah, it was awesome. But I said, are you sure you want to jump off of a bridge? I said it might not go perfectly, you know. I'm gonna try, but the landing, you know, I'm gonna try to give you the softest landing as I possibly can. And she says, well, I've lived a long life anyways. And I'm like, no, you can't. I'm not gonna be the guy that killed a nice old lady.
For you, that's reasonable. For me, I can't take that.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know. And so there was a lot of pressure, and then the news ended up coming out, and you know, it's like I only jump if the weather's good. So there was a lot of pressure and everything, but ended up jumping. It was kind of hard for her to see the waiver, so I had to like read the whole thing to her. It's really long. And she goes, just sign it. And I was like, no, I can't just sign it.
Right, so you're an X.
And she so we ended up jumping. It was a really soft landing. I had her all padded up in motocross gear and a motocross helmet. And
Wow.
It had to help a little bit just because she was so light too, because you could kind of probably just like
it definitely
control her body.
And we landed and the boat came and got us, and she loved it. She just said it was too short. And I said, that's base jumping for you.
That's awesome.
No,
that had to be.
We did take her in a hot air. We took her in a hot air balloon for her 103rd birthday, and then she played her harmonica while we jumped out. She didn't jump out, but
that's so cool.
Me and a couple friends did, and it was awesome. Yeah,
that's
beautiful
so sick.
person.
So my only
mean harmonica.
What's that?
She could play a mean harmonica, I'd assume.
She played like all the classics, you know. And here's a cool story. Listen to this. This is gonna make you shit yourself. I mean, maybe, or at least maybe get goosebumps or something. So 2 weeks before she dies, right? Almost made it to 104. I went and visited her, and she's like, "Do you have a harmonica?" And I said, "No." And you had to yell in her ear because she couldn't hear anymore very well. But so you had to stand real close, and she says, "What? We'll have to get you one." And then she died, and I never got the harmonica from her. But I was like weed eating the landing area down below the bridge, and I hit this thing on the ground, and I looked down, and there's a fucking harmonica on the ground, and I picked it up, and I have that harmonica. Yeah,
there's some things that happen in the world that make you question reality, you know, because that's one of those things. It's
she was there in that moment.
I've never found harmonica.
I got goosebumps right now just thinking about it.
I do too. No, I legitimately do too. But
I mean, I've never found a harmonica in my whole life, and you find one at, you know, the place you do that with her.
Yeah,
she was there in that moment. Like my whole body's covered in goosebumps. Like she was there in that moment, and that was like, no, this is your harmonica, and that's so amazing. And I guarantee you cherish that beyond no end, and that's
for sure.
Oh, dude, like that's amazing. That's just so sick. Like that is better than getting it from her, because you know it's from her while she's not even here, but she's like, this is yours. This is from me.
Yeah.
And you know
it was there's no way to describe it.
And that's not something people even believe. Like sometimes, you know, it's like it's the odds are just too outlandish.
Yeah, exactly. A harmonica at the LZ at the Prime, like in just no. I mean, amazing, dude. That's so sick. I do want to ask you, you know, what is your favorite, like, what has been your favorite base jump? I mean, was it her? Was it, and by the way, I got to tell you my balloon story, my hot air balloon story, because it's wild.
Oh, yeah, you told me to remind you about that, and I didn't. Not for this episode, but many back.
Oh, yeah. But,
whoops.
You know, what has been your, like, favorite jump? Whether it's a tandem, whether it's, you know, wingsuit, whatever it is, proximity flying, whatever it may be, what is something that just, to your dying day, that it's going to resonate with you?
Man, there are so many. I honestly have trouble bringing up, like, I have trouble just singling it out to like my favorite one. But there was one that comes to mind in New York City. That was a long, long time ago. And it was like right there in the financial district, and it was a building that was under construction. And we went up there. It's like 80 something floors. And I was slider up, which means that it opens slower. And I did a triple gainer off of it. And then when I pitched the pilot chute, the canopy started sniveling, doing its like opening thing. For people who don't know what that means. It doesn't like slider up, it goes like this and then opens. Where slider down, it bangs open. This like takes a little while. So you continue falling while the parachute's above your head trying to open. And there's just buildings, like I'm in between all these buildings while I'm sniveling, and then it opens, and then like I'm headed towards a building and have to turn right to miss that one. And then now I'm headed towards another building, have to turn right again, and another building, and then fly over the corner of another one, and then put it down in this tiny little street in between all these lamp posts. And then
you got to get out of there quick, I'd assume.
Yeah.
The legality at that point.
It was just one of the coolest ones because it was slider up too, like it's one of my favorite things is jumping that way. And it just takes a lot more height, basically. It was awesome. So yeah, it's just the feeling it gives you to do, certain jumps. I mean, that's kind of what it's all about, is like, how you feel in the moment and after. I mean, that feeling of free fall next to stuff is amazing. And when you can control that more and more, with laser precision, that's what it's all about. It's not like we're just jumping off, like hoping it's going to work. There's a lot of experience behind it, and
you wouldn't make many training if that's what you were doing.
Right. There's so much training behind it, and it just takes a crazy amount of precision, so I love that.
Well, he's got to get going soon now, so let's hear your hot air balloon story.
I know. So, funny thing, my hot air balloon story, I wasn't base jumping yet, but some guys at Skydive Dallas were like, hey, they're skydivers. They're like, we brought out our hot air balloon. They're buddies. And they're like, we haven't flown it in like 15 years. You want to come jump out of it? We're going to take it out. And I'm like, hell yeah. I'm like, let's go. And they're like, who do you want to bring? And I was like, I don't know. I'll just try and find someone. I was like, what you going to charge? And they're like, nothing, dude. I was like, all right. So we wake up super early, get out there, first daylight. And Charles was one of the guys. And I was like, we're setting this thing up. I have no idea. I've never even seen a hot air balloon in person. I was like, what do I do? Like, how do I help? Like, I'm like, how do I help? And they're like, oh, this. So we set up. And they're like, oh, wind's supposed to be coming out of the west, going east. And we're like, it's going to be perfect. Well, so we set up, and then we start taking off. We're riding up, and I'm like looking around. I got my GoPro on. I'm wearing my burn wakeboard helmet, and I'm like looking around. I was like, oh, this is peaceful. And then all of a sudden, the wind kicks up. It's blowing east to west. We have like transformer power lines, the big ones that have that are on the metal bracket, And I'm like, guys, we're going right towards it. And they're like, oh shit. And they're like cranking on the gas. They're just pouring it on. We clear. Oh, dude, it was insane. And then we start clearing. We clear it by like only 20 feet. And I was like,
yeah, you don't have a lot of control in hot air balloons.
No.
They're kind of sketched.
No, I was like, we're going to die here today. I was like, I'm going to get like fried chicken. How is going to be served up. We cleared it. And I was like, and everyone's like in the video. I got to see if I still have the old video. He was like, shh. He was like, shit, that was close. And I was like, no fucking shit. I was like, we almost.
If you have that video, you better post it on our Instagram.
Dude, I got to, yeah.
You don't want us to do it.
Make sure you send that to me too so I can see it.
Dude, I will, 100%. So anyways, we get up there. We get like 3,000, 4,000 feet. It's been so long ago. But they get up there. And it's pretty still once we get into that layer, And so they were like, all right, who's going first? And I was like, me. I'm ready to get the hell out of this.
Get me out of this mess.
I was like, let's go. And so I was like, what do I was like, how do y'all want me to exit? They're like, however you want. I was like, dope. And I just threw this big laid out backflip. And I have a picture on my Instagram, and I'm just like, the balloon is in between my fingers, throwing up double P's. And the guy that was with me, Gabe, was in the basket, and they have the video, and I'm just laid out. And he's like, you hear like Charlie and his buddy go, oh shit, that's cool. And I was just like, after that, I landed. I went back to the DZ. I packed parachutes the rest of the day. And then that night I left for Tomorrow World, which was a music festival. And drove all the way to Georgia with my buddies.
Dang, that's a big day.
Yeah, it was a big
awesome.
day. And you're not getting much rest at Tomorrow World.
No. But anyways, I know you got to get going, and I don't want to run you late. Brother, I am so appreciative and so thankful for the time that you've gotten to share, because like, dude, I've got to sit down and talk to you. And like, you know, I think I just found out the last jumps I made, and I was talking to Brad, and I was like, you know, it's like JD and I, we were jumping and this and that. He's like, oh, I think JD passed away. Because I told him, I was like, man, I've been trying to get a hold of him for years. And I was like, dude, I mean, it's this guy. Like, he was such a staple. He was my first base jump. Like, he helped me. And, you know, in some of our first jumps were out at the grind. And like, he was like, I think JD passed away. And I was like it like chokes me up. And I'm just like, damn. And I know he passed away doing what he loved. And like, he was just a dude full of life and happiness and joy. But what's crazy is like, you meet so many base jumpers. And I would say 95 or better, it's people that love life so much, they're willing to gamble it.
Yeah, you don't want to waste it.
And
You want to enjoy it.
Yeah, like you're like, I'm literally living the fullest life I can. And you know, my last memory with JD was actually at the grind. And when I get to see you doing your courses and you doing your stuff, I have the inklings of JD that always trickle in, and just like fills my heart. And like, the tandem base jumps, I think, is an amazing thing you do, because, you know, I think you get to share a glimpse of the full life that people that do base jump regularly get to live. And they're like, my God, I've never felt more alive. There's never been one time I've ever landed from base jump and never felt more alive. Like, and that's the most beautiful thing that comes from it. You don't take life for granted. You just enjoy it for the maximum capacity.
Yeah.
That it can offer.
And I'd like to, you know, reiterate the appreciation for you coming on. You know, I didn't know anything about this world, and super interesting to hear your stories, but also, you know, mastery in anything takes dedication and time and, you know, confidence and, you know, true belief in yourself. And that, you know, kind of crosses all realms and is applicable to everyone. So I think these conversations are, you know, well worth it no matter what. But you seem like an incredibly interesting guy, and I appreciate, you know, you spending the time with us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me on. Yeah, the reason why I'm in a hurry is because I've enrolled in a cryptocurrency school, and I'm just learning as much as I can about it, because it's another thing that's super interesting to me. So I spent hours a day learning.
You like volatility. What? You like volatility then, huh?
Yeah.
Crypto's volatile. Base jumping's volatile.
Yeah. So I got another class to join like right now. So
okay, I was gonna ask you one quick question, then we'll end this.
Quick question. What is what is some life advice, dad advice you could give anyone listening right now?
I would say to enjoy yourself, but overall, make sure that you are becoming a better and better person every day. And that you're remembering that, you're in the world with everybody else at the same time. And it's not just about you. It's not just about your social media and getting attention. It's about kind of everybody as a whole and becoming, like more and more in depth as a soul throughout your life, because I feel like it's an eternal process, not just like the few moments we have in this physical body.
100%. Love that.
That has maybe been my favorite one yet.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. No, that's amazing. And that's what turns the world, right? But I think we forget that in this life. We get so worried about ourselves. We forget that we can take care of so many other people if we just harness ourselves and go full force with it. So,
man. And then how you're going to run the intro or the outro, but you're going to link all of Chuma's information.
I was going to say,
because we have a lot of, a lot of our, following our adrenaline seekers and thrill seekers and people that would probably be interested in this. So all that information will be linked in our videos. But once you run the outro, if you could stay on for just like 30 seconds after Sean to make sure everything uploads properly, and then we'll get you on to that crypto class.
Well, and real quick, I'm going to send it, but where can they follow your base jump course, your tandems, and you yourselves? Where can they find you at?
I use Instagram a little bit. So there's Sean Chuma, so SEANCHUMA. And then also there's another Instagram page called Tandem B.A.S.E. That's the tandem B.A.S.E side of things. And then I've got tandembase.com. So if someone wanted to sign up for a tandem base jump, I do them here at the bridge, at the Perrine Bridge in Twin Falls, Idaho. And also there's still some spots left for Bridge Day too.
Is there some limitations for the tandem base jump as far as like weight or height or anything like that?
Yeah, weight limit at Bridge Day is 170 and it's 180 here in Twin Falls. Yeah, and then age is usually like 18, unless I know your parents are base jumpers or something, then it's different. But yeah, 18. And then I've got, so tandembase.com has all that stuff, and then seanchuma.com is my website that has some stuff about me. Kind of busy living my life, so I don't get to update all this stuff all the time, but I try to put stuff on Instagram sometimes. But yeah, so.
Well, everyone, make sure to go follow Sean. Go make a base jump with Sean. Go live your full life and go experience that amazing life experience. And I will tell you, you are in no better hands than this man right here.
I got to lose a couple LBs before I can make one.
Well, make it happen.
Just a couple. Just a couple.
Tandem-based weight loss program.
Like 4 pounds.
Yeah, have some encouragement. Why are you losing weight?
That's easy.
Tandem-based, baby.
Yeah, just take a big morning dump and I'll be good to go.
There you go. Well, with that being said, everyone, go follow Sean. Go follow his journey and his experience. Show him some love. Go sign up for a base jump with him. And with that being said, Sean, thank you so much. We're going to get you out of here. We will catch everybody in the next one. Peace.
All right. See you guys.
Well, the whiskey's low and the story's all done, but we sure had ourselves some fun. From tall tales told to the last good pun, you've been rolling with the rowdy one. Thanks for listening, y'all.